JD Vance was asked if he's planning on running for president in 2028, and I really liked his response. Here it is.
You're one of the youngest vice presidents that we've ever seen in the history of our country. Are you expecting to run for president in 3.5 years?
Oh, Maria, you're the first person who's asked me that. And I'd say that we've not thought a lot about politics in the last 6 months. We've thought about getting the American people's business done. We'll see what happens come 2028. But the way that I think about this is the best thing for my future is actually the best thing for the American people, which is that we do a really good job over the next 3.5 years. So we'll cross the political bridge when we come to it. I'm not thinking about running for president. I'm thinking about doing a good job for the American people. And I think the best way to do that is to make sure that President Trump is a success.
Yeah, he's lying. He's lying, guys. He's thought about this. I promise he has. And Trump has definitely, talked to JD Vance and told him that he's prepping him for the White House in 2028, because not only does Donald Trump want to continue his legacy through someone else as awesome as JD Vance, but of course JD Vance would be dumb to look at what he's doing right now and not think to himself, well, I could be president. And I think JD is actually a pretty humble guy. I don't think he's the kind of guy who thinks he deserves it or he's entitled to it, but he knows. He knows he's probably going to be the Republican nominee in 2028, and he probably should be, if we're being honest, even though I've talked about on my show before how I would love Ron DeSantis to be in there. I think there's some other good choices as well, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to be JD Vance. I think he'd be crazy if he hadn't thought about it. So, and he really should think about it at this point too, because his answer is really great for two reasons. He talks obviously about how he's just focused on, he wants to do very good work right now. And the reason why it's so great is because he was elected to do great things. And so he should work his butt off to do those things. And of course, if he does well, then why wouldn't people want him to come back? Why wouldn't they want a continuation of Donald Trump and JD Vance? That's what all of America would want. So I want to show you guys the polling for JD Vance and the massive shift that has gone on basically since he entered the national scale, not as a senator, but as a VP candidate, because it's really astounding to see his come up. So I'm going to put it up on screen right now. This is a graph starting from July 18th, which I believe is when JD Vance, it was announced that he would be Donald Trump's VP nominee, going to today. So you can see today, he is almost to a net favorability rating, which you might look at that and think, oh, that's not that great. And you look too, and his favorability is only 39%. That's not fantastic. But you have to look at, if you add up those numbers, the favorability and the unfavorability, it only adds up to about 80%. And what that means, and this might seem kind of crazy to those of you who, are into politics. I'm obviously into politics. There's about 20% of people who don't even know who JD Vance is. So when they polled them, they're like, do you have a favorable or an unfavorable opinion of JD Vance? And they were like, I don't really know who that is. I don't have an opinion at all, which is crazy again. But the longer he's VP, this is my opinion, I think the longer he is VP, the more people will love him. Obviously, people will find out more about him and they'll love him. Very different from Kamala Harris, for instance, where if you looked at Kamala Harris's favorability ratings, it was fairly high at the beginning, but then it went down lower and lower and lower as we found out more things about her. The reason why this is so astounding too, where he's at 39%, is if you go back to July 18th when this started, his favorability was 25%. So he's gone up 14%, which is absolutely massive. And if you look at the kind of the newest polls that have come up, almost all of them have him in the positive favorability rating. The only reason why in this graph you're seeing it lower is because it's just an aggregate of polls, and so it's still being outweighed by some of the past polls. But right now I'm just pulling up the recent polls from literally just last week. And out of the 6 most recent ones, 5 of them are plus favorability by about 3. So he's got a plus by about 3%. That's very good. That's not quite as good as Donald Trump's right now, depending on the polls you look at, but it's very close and it's very good. And as I talked about, I think it's going to go up. And the reason why is because he's authentic, he's normal, he's a hard worker, and he's going to do great things, and he's already doing fantastic things as VP to Donald Trump. You know what else is a great thing? Getting your personal taxes out of the way with my sponsor, Quick Tax America. Quick Tax America is a non-woke company, guys, that hates the IRS as much as you do, and so they get you the best return that you can possibly get, and it's only $69 for all federal tax returns. It's a completely transparent price because it's their only price, no matter how complicated your taxes are. What's more, guys, they do all the work. No more online services. You know who I'm talking about. There's a big guy out there where you go on, you spend 4 hours doing all your taxes, and then you end up spending hundreds of dollars with them to do it. Again, it's only $69 for all federal tax returns. They do all the work. You simply upload a few files that you have, answer some questions, and schedule a 15-minute finish your return call with a tax professional. They do all the rest. So go check them out at quicktaxamerica.com once you get those tax documents, or you can go to the link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you haven't already, go down below, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and watch another video.